Hello everyone, welcome back to a brand new video of Hubert, and welcome back to another Gmod map review. This is Never Lose Hope Hospital, which was made by Bizz and Aurelius. And so yeah, I've reviewed a Gmod map before. It was actually a Mount Massive Asylum map for Outlast, of course, but I figured I would try something a little different. And so yeah, like I said, we have Never Lose Hope Hospital, which is the main setting of Nightmare House 2, which was a mod made for Half-Life 2. And so yeah, we're going to be exploring it in today's video, and so yeah, we are currently standing right outside the front of the hospital here. This is kind of the main entrance, I would consider it, and it's one of the few times we actually get to see the exterior of the actual hospital here, because you're basically inside it the entire time. And so out here in the front, not a whole lot going on. It's actually kind of looks like a wasteland almost. It's very barren, but we do have the road that actually leads to the hospital. And so that's kind of like where the second ending takes place, kind of what I consider to be the bad ending. If you choose to leave the hospital, Emily kills you, of course. But I mean, it's kind of interesting here. Yeah, you got like these balconies here, so that don't really go anywhere. But then up here, we have the roof, and this is like where you would find the helipad. So where the helicopter crashes and the last member of the SWAT team dies, kind of where that would take place. And then, so yeah, we have our main entrance, so you got some benches here. Let's see, so yeah, I got some payphones. See, I kind of like a little kind of sitting area. But here is the main entrance, so we got kind of like a vestibule going on here. So double doors, of course. And so here's the main entrance. So we got reception. We got kind of like a little waiting area. So it's actually kind of small for this being, kind of the main entrance here. There's not a whole lot going on, but, like I said, you do have the waiting area. You got the reception desk. So kind of the stuff you would expect to find in an actual hospital here. And so back here, this leads to kind of like a little surveillance security room. So we just got a hallway that leads to it. And we have this door here. Yeah, it doesn't go anywhere. So yeah. Then we have this room. So this is where you can find the corpse of the, it was the female employee that actually was making all of those recordings, like the intercom. So you actually get an achievement if you go in there for the first time. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this area. So yeah, we just got some seating and some TVs and stuff like that. And then we have two sets of double doors here. And we also have an elevator, which not only goes up, but also does go down. So it goes up to that helipad area. So this is at the beginning of the final chapter, chapter 7, which is Requiem. And so you take the elevator going down, and basically kind of to the last stage of the game, which is, of course, the core, and you also, the final boss, Dr. Romero and the core, so you have to destroy the core. And so that's all kind of the last area of the game. So just kind of this underground area. And so yeah, here's what the elevator actually looks like going down. So I just kind of want to show you it, since, you normally wouldn't be able to see it like that. Unless, of course, you enable no clip like I did here. And so yeah, here is the elevator coming down, and doors should open, yep, so. And so down here, there's not a whole lot going on, so again, just more doors that don't go anywhere, of course. But then this door leads you into this area where Dr. Romero basically spends his time in. So throughout the entire game. So we have a small little bathroom. This is actually where he takes refuge in when you enter this area. And then he emerges once you go deeper down to the room where the core is located. And so here's the room where he actually kind of interacts with you. So every time he's talking to you, he's standing in front of these monitors here. So this is where he would be talking. And this is where he would appear when you start destroying the core. And so there's a door here. This would go down to a staircase, but there is nothing here. For some reason, this area isn't modeled. So past this point, there'll be a staircase going down to the room that the core is located, and that's basically the last room of the game. And so there's also kind of this small little room here, I guess basically just for like sleeping. So there's some personal belongings in here, some photos, but then he's also got a bed here. And he has some, again, photos and a small little kitchen area. So basically, he's basically been living down here for who knows how long. But I mean, yeah, the elevator is really the only way out of here that I know of. And so at this point, we can either go left or right. So I think we're actually going to go to the right here. And so yeah, this is going to lead to the radiology department. Now, I'm not sure if this is actually how this area kind of connects. Now I do know it does go to the radiology department. I just don't know if this is how this hallway is actually shaped. Because at both stages of the game, the hallway just terminates right here. You can actually see that the wall pattern and flooring is different here. So I'm not sure if that's how it's actually connected or if it connects like that. So that I cannot confirm. But so yeah, there we have our hallway there. So now we're kind of in the radiology department. So you have a small little kind of maintenance area here. So kind of like a little service area. And then, yeah, you have this area that's kind of closed off by rubble. So it doesn't really go anywhere. But here you have like these closed off areas. So now you can actually get a better look at what's inside of them. So there's not a whole lot going on. It's basically just like storage pretty much. So you just got some crates and stuff. And then you have two elevators. So this goes down. This actually goes to the first chapter of the game, not counting the prologue, the original Nightmare House. This is actually the first chapter, which is Rebirth. So that takes place in like a psychiatric ward, pretty much. So yeah, these elevators go down. Actually go all the way down, since this is the very top of the elevator shaft here. And it goes down several floors to the very bottom where that psychiatric kind of like mental hospital kind of ward is located. And yeah, we got some elevator equipment here. And so it goes all the way down. There's a few floors here, but yeah, they don't go anywhere. So that's kind of to be expected. But then, yeah, so there's that elevator. So if this is correct, then those elevators aren't too far away from where the elevator for the main entrance is located. But anyways, yeah, back to the main elevators here. So yeah, we just have more floors here, and so it goes all the way down. So of course, when you're actually playing this, you start out in this area and you take the elevators going up. So yeah, this is the very bottom of where the elevators go. And so this is kind of the last stage of the first chapter. And so you got like a little reception area. So there's kind of like some maintenance service areas here. But then you have kind of like a security room. So, you take the elevators going down and you probably go here. So I just go, I don't really know, to be honest. It's just like a little security area. Maybe also serves as reception. I'm really not sure. And so, oh yeah, we got some gates here. So there's a few of these in this section. So yeah, a little bit of more kind of maintenance security areas here. So this is a kind of like another security room here. And there's supposed to be a gate there. Yeah, but so there's another room there, and then we also have another kind of maintenance area. And it's to only authorized personnel and stuff like that. And we got like these fans here that go down to these shafts that really don't go anywhere. So like these ventilation ducts from the looks of it. And a very huge fan here that, again, doesn't really go anywhere. And so you have like this upper portion. So this is where you actually go in the game. So you have to go through this ventilation duct, which eventually gives out underneath you. So it breaks underneath your weight and you end up in this area. So that's why there's supposed to be a gate there, since that's how you actually get past that, is through the vent. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this area. Yeah, so just another kind of maintenance area. And so yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Okay, so we got everything. And so now we have this room here. So not a whole lot going on here. This is where you talk to Dr. Romero again. And another area that's blocked off by rubble. More gates. And we have a couple of restrooms here. So very small, just a single toilet and sink. So nothing too fancy here. And so another gate. And yeah, there's nothing in this area. So this hallway eventually just terminates. Yeah, that's to be expected. And here's the cafeteria. So here's one of the doors. There's also one on the other side. Yeah, another hallway that's blocked off by rubble. This actually looks like it can connect here. It's very interesting. But then, yeah, we have more doors leading into the cafeteria. And so, of course, we have the cafeteria here. Nothing really, too fancy here. But we do have kind of like a little pantry area. So this is where you would basically get your food from. And we got some dumpsters here. So yeah, a little pantry area. And then this is serviced by the kitchen, which is all the way back here. So very small. Again, nothing too crazy, but it does have some ovens, refrigerators, kind of counter space. And so yeah, heading deeper into kind of this psychiatric ward here. So this is like the very start of the game here. So this is where we have like our actual rooms here. And this is where our protagonist, the patient, actually wakes up in to start the game. So yeah, these would be like padded cells here behind these. So you have two here, and then we have like a little like common area here, like a little sitting area. And another hallway that doesn't go anywhere, of course. And then, oh wow, okay, so we have like a missing wall there. That's interesting. All right. And here we have, what I'm calling to be another kind of security room. So this is actually where we talk with Dr. Romero for the very first time. And he tells us to head to the cafeteria to collect the axe that's there, so our first weapon of the game. Before we collect a firearm that's in the last security room right next to the elevators, which is also where we see Dr. Romero for the first time on the monitors. And so yeah, we have more padded rooms here. One of these should be for the patient. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep. So yeah, this is the very start of the game here, not counting the prologue again. And so behind this gate, yeah, there would be more padded cells here from the looks of it. We have two. But then, yeah, this doesn't go anywhere. So I'm guessing it would just be more padded cells. Of course, that area isn't modeled since there really isn't a point, since you never go there. And so that's kind of an overview of this kind of psychiatric ward. So the first chapter, Chapter 1, Rebirth, of Nightmare House 2. Okay. So I think we're going to head to Chapter 2 now, which is Exposure in the Radiology Department. And so yeah, like I said before, you take the elevator going up, and you go through this little maintenance area. and you're in the radiology department. And so yeah, like I said, that goes to the main entrance. And so now we go through here. We have kind of like a little four-way intersection here. And this doesn't go anywhere. For some reason, I cannot open that door. I guess because it is locked, it doesn't go anywhere. Yep. And then on the other side here, we have kind of like a waiting room. So we got some, a couple of seating there, couches and some TVs. And we have like another separate waiting room here. So yeah, more seating. But this one even has a vending machine. And so yeah, more TVs. And yeah, this doesn't go anywhere. So yeah, another hallway that doesn't go anywhere, of course. We have like a small maintenance room, very small. Yeah, you don't spend too much time here. And so this goes out to the other side. Yeah, we have some doors that are blocked off with plywood behind them from the looks of it. We have another TV. Yeah, we talked to Dr. Romero on there. Or rather, Dr. Romero talks to us, since the patient doesn't really speak. And so we have one of 3 x-ray rooms. So they're all basically identical. I think it's missing a bed here, kind of like a gurney. And so we have like a little like control room, so for actually taking the x-rays. And so yeah, like I said, the rooms are all basically identical. And so here's the third one, the third x-ray room. And so yeah, this is kind of like a little scare happens, and then you actually have to go in there. And so yeah, this door just goes out back to the waiting room. And so yeah, once you go through there, this door opens. It's unlocked, and you can go to the other x-ray rooms, which are, there's the MRI room here. And so yeah, the machine would be here. For some reason, it's not here. But you have to turn on the machine, which causes a bunch of furniture to fly towards it. And it ends up busting a hole through that wall. And so you can actually enter this area. That's how you get into this room. And so kind of like a little maintenance room. So we got some pipes here behind some of these metal grates. And so yeah, here's kind of like the control room for the MRI. So a bit larger than the for the other x-ray rooms. And so yeah, this is actually where you turn on the machine. So you have to replace one of the fuses to turn on the machine. And over here is the CT room. So it's basically identical to the MRI room. So yeah, got some sinks there. We have a control room, which I don't think you can actually access, but you can look into it. That's where you kind of get jump scared by a zombie there. And then those doors don't go anywhere. And so those are all of the x-ray rooms there. And then last but not least, we have kind of like a reception area. So this goes back to the, towards the main entrance and elevators. So we have like a reception room to kind of get checked in. So another little waiting room as well. So payphones, vending machine, seating. There's that maintenance room. And then we have a little window here for the kind of office there. And another waiting area with a TV this time. And you also have these doors here. So this is how the chapter actually ends, chapter 2. So you go down basically what is seemingly an infinite hallway. And you have kind of like another hallucination. And then you get transported to the beginning of chapter 3, which we'll get to shortly. But first, I kind of want to wrap up this area. So kind of the last area you go through is this vent into the actual office here. And you talk to Dr. Romero again. And there's some zombies, of course. And so yeah, there's not a whole lot going on in this room. And eventually you go out that door. And you go back towards the double doors, like I said. And so yeah, that's basically chapter 2 there, exposure. So kind of like another overview here. And so there is the second chapter. And so now we can head to chapter 3, which is maintenance. And as you can guess, it's kind of the one of the maintenance areas. But we also do see the emergency room towards the end. So if I can actually find it here. Yep, so here is the beginning of chapter 3. Okay, so just kind of showing you how this actually all kind of comes together. It's very fascinating, actually. So yeah, there you can see the other areas. So kind of where we are. And so we wake up in here after the end of chapter 2. And so kind of like a little storage room there. And then, yeah, I'm not sure if these are actually elevators because there are no buttons there, but they kind of look like elevators because they look similar to what we've seen for the elevators so far. And we have some closed off areas. Yeah, some pipes. So basically what you can expect to find in this, basically a maintenance area. So yeah, a lot of pipes here, a lot of exposed pipes. Over here is the laundry room. And so we have, yeah, some sinks on that side and then some washing machines over here. And there is a vent behind the last one, which is actually how we progress through the chapter. So we use it to get past some rubble that's in this hallway here. So you can see that the vent does keep going on, but we just use it just so we can get past that rubble there. So this is like one whole area here. So we have the laundry room here, but then we have this hallway and this just keeps going on. But as you can see, it's just blocked off by just a huge amount of rubble here. And there's also a bunch of rubble on this side over here in this hallway. So just a lot of rubble here. And yeah, there's also kind of like this separate area. So this we saw before. That's like the last stage of the game. But it does look a little different since there's doors there. And there's also... Oh wow, this door opens and closes very fast. But yeah, there's also no core and there's also no elevator coming down here. So I'm guessing this is just like kind of an extra space where like the developers used it to like record some of the Dr. Romero scenes, I think. Not really sure. But here we have an office, I think. And then we have a storage room back here. So again, we talked to Dr. Romero back here, and he tells us to head to the laundry room to find that vent that we were just looking at. And yeah, these doors, of course, don't go anywhere. And so yeah, we use the vent to get past this whole mess. We have a couple of restrooms here. So they're similar to the ones we saw earlier in the psychiatric ward. So just single toilet, nothing too fancy. And at the end here, yeah, we have to get past this gate, but as you can see, yeah, the electricity decides to go out. So you have to turn the generator back on to open the gate again. And so this is how we progress after we turn on the generator. So we go through this hallway. So before we go there, let's just explore this area very quick. So we have a staircase going down. There's kind of like a little storage room. And so here is the generator room with the turbine. And so you have to find a few fuses. And once you find those, you can turn this back on. And the power is back on. So again, nothing too crazy here. It's relatively simple. And so now that the gate is open, we can go continue on our journey here. And so yeah, this area is actually a little annoying to go through in the actual game because the flashlight kind of glitches out. If you have it turned on, it keeps going on and off. It flickers a lot. So thankfully here, it doesn't do that. So we can actually kind of get a better idea of what this actually looks like. So nothing really too interesting. It's just another kind of maintenance area again. And so once we go up this ladder, the flashlight starts working properly again. And so just a lot of pipes here. Yeah, very industrial looking space, for lack of a better word. So yeah, a lot of pipes, a lot of metal grates, a lot of very rusted spaces here. Yeah, there's some like water in one of these areas that's been collecting. It's like at the bottom of one of the shafts. So yeah, very interesting. And again, you can, when you're in a free cam like this, no clipping, you can kind of see how this all kind of connects and see how everything is laid out in relation to each other. And so I kind of lost my bearings here actually doing that. Hold on. Okay, so, okay, we're on the right track here. So, yeah, we eventually come to these showers here. So that's kind of the end of the maintenance area, and we're now kind of in the emergency department, so the emergency room, rather. And so you can see how this all kind of comes together. We're actually not too far from where we were just a few minutes earlier. And so yeah, that's kind of an overview of the maintenance portion of the chapter. So we're still in chapter 3, it's just we're now in the emergency room, since they're kind of lumped together. Chapter 4 is separate in the surgery department. And so we have some showers here, so it's basically like a shower room for the employees. We also have some showers in like these like cubicles. So like these separate closed off areas. And so yeah, this goes back to the maintenance area. So we have that ladder going up. And so going now into the emergency room. So we got kind of like a yellow color scheme here. And let me just have the flashlight turned back on. It's a little bit dark in here. But we have some patient rooms here. So there's 3 patient rooms in this hallway. And so there for a single person, we got some chairs and some medical equipment. And yeah, here's another room. This door swings outwards. So another patient room, yeah, it's basically identical to the other one. And our third patient room here, yeah, this one is in a bit of a mess here. And so we have an exit, yeah, because this actually goes back to the main entrance. So now we're on this side here. So again, I'm not sure if this is actually how it's meant to connect here like this, where you have like an L-shaped hallway here. So again, just something I cannot really confirm, but still it's kind of cool to think that's actually how it connects. I mean, it kind of makes sense because this is the reception room. So yeah, this doesn't go anywhere. We have a hallway that doesn't go anywhere. And you can see just how close this is to the actual main entrance here. So like a waiting room here and reception area for the emergency room. So some seating, payphones, TVs. Here's our reception desk. And just kind of giving you a better look at that. And then, yeah, we have like a decontamination area here. Which, kind of makes sense. And so we're getting very close to the end of the chapter here. The last space we go into really is the actual emergency room. So just this larger room with a few beds in it. And just some shelves there, got some vents. And here's just another kind of reception desk. Kind of like nurse's station probably. And so at this point we enter a vent and then have kind of like another hallucination. And eventually we just end up outside these doors. And this takes us to chapter 4, which is operation, and that is the surgery department. And so now actually, hang on, this is a bit weird. Why is this hallway so long? Okay, what? Does this just repeat? Oh, okay, see, Yeah, now this is a bit strange. I don't think this is actually how it's supposed to be. Because, let's see if I can... So, you have this area here with the 2 double doors, right? So that's actually just supposed to be this over here. It's the same area. So that means this whole area right here with the very long hallway doesn't really exist. Because you just go from that area and straight to the the surgery departments. So I'm not sure why there's like 2 of those and with like a very long hallway. That's not really how it's supposed to be, so I'm not sure what's up with that. So that is a bit weird. Now that I can pretty much confirm it's not supposed to be like that. But anyways, yeah, this is now the start of chapter 4. So again, operation, this is the surgery department. Still kind of got that yellow color scheme. And we also have some windows here too. So we don't really see windows a whole lot in this hospital, but we do see the helicopter for the SWAT team outside. We'll get to that later. But here's kind of the main entrance to the surgery department, so you can see the color scheme is now a little bit different. We have now kind of this like blue, kind of like greenish tile. Yeah, more green from the looks of it. And okay, so yeah, kind of a waiting room here. We have 2 elevators, and I know because there's an actual button there. And so we have, yeah, more double doors. We're actually going to go this way first. So this would just be more patient rooms from the looks of it, except they aren't really modeled. So here's kind of that area of the shadow people, kind of a interesting little part of the game. And we have some vending machines, seating out in the hallway here. Another door that doesn't go anywhere. We have a small little maintenance room here. Yeah, nothing too fancy. And then we have a shower room over here. So one of 2 shower rooms in the surgery department. There is one close to the end. Another one close to the end of the game, the chapter. And there's kind of this area where the intercom goes on and it tells you there's something behind you. And there actually is. There's a zombie that spawns behind you. And so this just goes back to the waiting room, kind of the main entrance with the reception room. And in this area, we have what would be more patient rooms. So yeah, here's an actual patient room we can actually explore. So for 2 people this time, these are a little bit bigger than the ones in the surgery room. The emergency room, sorry. And so it kind of curves around here. We would probably have more patient rooms. So yeah, here's the second one we can access. And so it's basically a lot like the one we saw earlier. And our final patient room, I guess. And it seems like it would be really small because it would intersect with the operating room on the other side. And we have another kind of waiting room. And so there's a window outside, and this actually allows you to see the helicopter landing. And the SWAT team actually enter the building. And we have a couple of operating rooms. So here's the first one. So yeah, the overhead light with the operating table and some sinks and other medical equipment to the sides. And here's the other one. Yeah, it's basically identical to the other one. And so continuing our journey, we're getting close to the end of the chapter here. So more double doors that don't go anywhere. Here we have a little storage room of a bunch of beds stacked up. And some machining here, I don't know. But we enter this vent where we have kind of like another little hallucination thing. We actually see the SWAT team below us as we go into the vent. And we end up dropping down through here into that room where we meet the SWAT team guys for the first time, face to face. And so yeah, again, we drop down through there, so we go through this entire vent here. And so how this would actually work is you have these doors that open, so you can't actually enter this area since the SWAT team goes through this area. So they pass through. So this hallway is how they actually enter the hospital. So what we saw earlier, we saw the helicopter touch down. And so they would go through here, they would keep going straight, and as they go through here, you're above them in the vent. And so they round the corner, and you drop down through here, and you meet them. So it's kind of cool how this actually all kind of comes together. So kind of like another small reception area, you have an office, that's where you drop down through. So yeah, vending machine area blocked off by rubble. And so from this point onwards, you're with them. And so you go through this area, this large room. It does contain a few patient rooms, I guess. So again, with these red doors, I'm guessing these are patient rooms. Okay, so then we go through here, this hallway. And we enter another large area. I'm guessing this is like a cafeteria here. And you can see there's some skylights here, so I'm guessing this is like the top floor as well. So yeah, kind of like a cafeteria area, I'm guessing, with some patient rooms off to the sides for a single person. Yeah. Oh, this one has two. So yeah, this is kind of where you get ambushed by zombies. They break out of the doors leading into these rooms. And you have to fight them off along with the SWAT team guys. Got a desk here, I'm guessing like reception or maybe nurse's station. And a door that doesn't go anywhere. And then eventually you go down here. So just a hallway here. Goes deeper into the surgery department. It goes back to the main area where we were just now. And we have another operating room. This one is a lot larger. So it's got spaces, operating tables for 2 people. But it's a lot like, same style as the other rooms. And again, this just goes back to, where we were earlier, just like the other door. So yeah, there's 2 doors here on that side. So everything's just kind of connected here, which is nice. We have another shower room. So yeah, this is the other shower room I was talking about earlier. And we have kind of our last room here of the chapter. So this very large space. I'm not exactly sure what it is because there's just nothing in it. Except some more skylights. And again, you get ambushed by zombies in here. And one of the SWAT team members goes missing. Johnson. I got some raiders there. Very nice. But, so eventually you go through this hallway, but, the floor gives out from underneath you. And so you end up getting separated from the SWAT team guys. So you have to continue your journey alone again. And so yeah, this doesn't go anywhere, so this is where the SWAT team guys would just keep going. And so from this point, after going through all of that, you have Chapter 5, which is Dead Signal. You go through another maintenance area, and you also go through the clothing department later on. And then eventually you reach Chapter 6, which is Evac. You go through some tunnels, kind of like maintenance underground tunnels. And towards the end, after all but one of the SWAT team guys have died, you reach the other helipad, which the helicopter crashes and kills the final SWAT guy. And from there you have Chapter 7 Requiem, and you end up taking the elevator that we saw at the main entrance down. So you go to the main entrance. You can either decide to leave the hospital, which results in a bad ending, or you can keep going down to destroy the core and kill Dr. Romero in the, I guess, really good ending. And so that's pretty much Nightmare House 2, so I'm just kind of I'm just kind of going to give you a final overview. So it is pretty interesting to see how everything kind of comes together here. And so yeah, we have a lot of flickering lights here, of course. So here's the surgery department. So I'm just kind of going through my mind, making sure I covered everything, which it seems like we did. So basically in order, while also kind of showing you some areas we can't really access, which there isn't that many in this game. I mean, most doors that you can't open don't have anything behind them. So it's not like Outlast, which in my opinion has a little bit more interesting of kind of inaccessible areas. But this was still kind of fun. And so kind of giving an overview again, how everything is laid out. So the surgery department is kind of more towards the back of the hospital, along with the clothing department. And then you have your main entrance. Until left of that is the emergency room, along with one of the main maintenance areas. And then to the right is the radiology department, which has the elevators going down to the kind of psychiatric ward. Of course, we have, this area of Dr. Romero. It's interesting that the psychiatric ward is lower than the area of Dr. Romero. I thought it would actually be the opposite, which is interesting. And there's a full moon. So yeah, guys, that is my look at this Gmod map. So all in all, I definitely did enjoy it. So yeah, it's pretty much just some of the levels for Nightmare House 2 combined with some missing. So again, it doesn't have Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 for some reason. But I still did enjoy going through this. I know there are some other maps out there, other Never Lose Hope Hospital maps, so I'm guessing those probably have all the different sections. But yeah, I still did enjoy going through this. So definitely check out this map if you're, kind of interested in Nightmare House 2. So just kind of flying through everything, kind of seeing how everything kind of, again, comes together, which is what the point of these videos are. And so I don't think I really have too much to really say about it other than that. And so yeah, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Of course, feel free to comment if you have any thoughts about the map or if you have any questions. And so that is going to be it for today's video, guys, and I will see you in the next one as always. So until then, bye for now, everyone.